Now, before this review begins, I think it should be worth mentioning that this review, I'll be mentioning major spoilers from the ending of Naruto if you have not finished the manga or you have not finished the anime, which at the time of this recording is currently in filler hell. So, yeah, I say stay away from this review unless you finish the manga. In that case, let's go right in and review Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 is the latest in CyberConnect 2's Naruto Ultimate Ninja series. The Naruto Ultimate Ninja series is based off the very popular anime manga that if you don't know the name of, then why the hell are you here and how the hell did you find this video? The Ultimate Ninja games for the PlayStation 2 were 2.5D fires, and they had a total of 5 games before they got rebooted for the PS3 in 2008 as Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, going from being a 2.5D fire to a full 3D arena fire. And Storm 1, I believe to my knowledge, is the first official Naruto game that covers the entire childhood portion of the series, starting from always from the beginning of the series to ending at the end of the Sasuke retrieval arc. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the first Naruto game to actually go that far. And in 2010, Storm 2 released, and it covered the entire start of Shippuden and ended all the way to the ending of the pain arc. In 2012, Storm Generations released and was basically Storm 2.5 with some new characters and new mechanics. Though because of kind of lackluster single player content, this is kind of where I have falling out with the Storm series, and from there on, this is actually my first Storm game I've picked up since. But yeah, in 2013, Storm 3 released. It covered from the start of the 5 Kage 7 arc, ended about halfway through the 4th Great Ninja War arc. Then in 2014, Storm Revolution released, and I haven't played either Storm 3 or Storm Revolution, so no real comment aside from the Storm 3 story summary. In February of 2016, CyberConnect 2 released Storm 4, and it covers the second half of the 4th Great Ninja War to the very end of the manga, and this has been hyped up as CyberConnect 2's final Naruto game. Does it live up to the hype, or is it a massive disappointment to Naruto fans? Well, watch this review to find out. The story begins before the start of the manga. It begins during the fight between the first Hokage, Hashirama Shinju, and the main antagonist of the series, Maru Uchiha. And a boss fight that really does set up the scale of this game big time. After that fight reaches its midway point, we jump to chapter 599 of the manga, during the fight of Naruto, Guy, Kakashi, and Killer Bee against Toby. And at the end of the boss fight, we get the infamous revelation that Toby's real identity is Kakashi's former teammate, Obito Uchiha, and then Obito is joined by Madara. After that happens, we didn't get a branching path in the story. We can either pick up where Sasuke left off in Storm 3, where he resurrects Orochimaru, then Orochimaru and Sasuke go resurrect the Hokages, then they go and join the battle. Or we go and do a flashback sequence which involves Obito and Kakashi's past, like how Kakashi got a Sharingan and what exactly happened to Kakashi's teammates, Obito and Rin. And then, after that's done, Naruto and Sasuke and the Shinobi Alliance unite in order to stop the infamous Tsukuyomi and defeat Obito and Madara. Now, the story itself does a decent job at adapting the final 100 chapters of the manga. It does leave out some stuff like Hashirama and Madara's childhood, but it does cover the important events of the final 100 chapters, such as some of the stuff I mentioned before, like Toby's identity reveal, and the Edo tends to be reformed to revive the dead Hokages, as well as some other major stuff such as Neji Hyuga's death, then Obito becoming a Sage of the Six Paths, then Madara taking the Sage of the Six Powers from Obito after he officially comes back to life, then Sasuke and Naruto gain power-ups from the original Sage of the Six Paths, then Kaguya coming out of nowhere as the mastermind behind the offensive series, killing Madara, and enters a final battle between Naruto and Sasuke and the rest of Team 7. While the game does a solid job at covering the manga, like it does this is a good adaptation wise of the final 100 chapters. However though, I really did not like the final 100 chapters of Naruto. While there are some good moments in there, such as the Guy versus Madara fight. The final 100 chapters in particular, while the Fourth Ninja War throughout it has some fair share of problems, a lot of the big problems come through the final 100 chapters, such as Obito's motive for becoming a villain was due to Rin's death. Like the shit that Obito does because of Rin's death, such as on the birth of the fourth Hokage's son, who by the way was Obito's sensei, saying he goes and tries to extract the Nine Tails from his wife who's about to give birth, which results in both the fourth Hokage and his wife's deaths on the day their son's born, which of course ruined Naruto's life big time. And then of course he assisted Itachi in the Uchiha massacre, which ruined Sasuke's life. And he of course created the Akatsuki basically. And there is so much problems I have with Obito's backstory. But my main problem is that Naruto basically talk no jutsus him and doesn't even acknowledge the fact that that Obito was the one who killed his parents. And that annoyed the crap out of me in the manga. And it wasn't as bad in the game simply because, how should I put this? Reading the manga weekly really did make it feel like a chore, but this game, at least the pacing was a lot better compared to reading the manga weekly. And there's some other issues I have, like Kaguya coming out of nowhere. She really had no reason to exist as the final film story. To add to lore maybe, but to completely shut on Madara, the guy we've been building up to as the main film of the series throughout the majority of it, was really bad. And then the reveal that Naruto and Sasuke are the reincarnations of the Sage of the Six Past Sons, and then the Sage giving them power-ups, it completely undermines the whole character development of Naruto and the whole main theme of the first part of the story being that of an underdog story. But man, sorry for that long rant, but my god, I really did not like the last 100 chapters of Naruto. Though there are great stuff to like in the story, such as I mentioned before, the Guy versus Madara fight was really well done in this game, and it was such a badass fight in the manga, even though we didn't see the entire fight. But in the game, holy shit, just see this shit. It was really crazy. But my favorite moment of the story mode was the final boss, which reminded me of the Metal Gear Solid 4 final boss Big Time, which has some nostalgic throwbacks just like Metal Gear Solid 4's final boss. And man, this game really did hit me with the feels, because just watch this moment. If you've been a fan of the series, like I have since you were a kid, you're gonna get really hit by nostalgia right here. Just watch the ending of the Naruto vs. Sasuke fight. Or skip ahead in the annotation you'll probably see. And yeah, just watch.
そろそろしまいにしようぜこの戦いを。
In terms of visuals, this game is a mixed bag. While the art direction, like always, is great, and it does look like a 3D interactive version of the anime, the graphics, in my opinion, aren't really much of a step up from the previous Storm games that were only on the Xbox 360 and PS3 and only came to PC with the release of the third game. And this game is only on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And while there's a ton of stuff in the story mode that goes on during boss fights on screen, the actual fights themselves that you'll fight in the first mode just look like a 1080p version of the other Storm games. Though, seeing things like the ultimate jutsus and the QTEs during boss fights are really well designed in terms of scale, even if it's a more exaggerated version of the manga, such as the fight between Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura against Kaguya, which, just see this thing right here, it went full fucking JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Then again, that's not a bad thing since everything gets better if it goes full JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. In terms of sound, I thought the music was kind of forgivable with slick since I really do like the OST of both parts of Naruto. And I maybe should double check, but it felt like mainly a forgettable original score. But also in terms of voice acting, this game has both the Japanese and English subs of the series, but also has a few other languages like the Spanish and French subs, which I did not expect. Not really sure why, but hey, if you live like in an English country like the US or like the US and your main language is either Spanish or French, more power to you. Though I have a huge problem with the presentation, and that's how the cutscenes are handled. Now in the story mode there are two types of cutscenes, one of them being that of the in-game cutscenes where, well, it just looks like the way the gameplay does, and the other being the form of anime cutscenes taken straight from the show. However, instead of them taken straight from the anime having them being fully animated, they're just slideshows with characters talking, and these weird background effects, I guess you'd call them, look really out of place, and between the characters, like they're voice acted by the characters, but yet the slideshow parts and the awkward, like weird background stuff really just makes these anime cutscenes look awkward and weird, and just made me wish they stuck with the in-game cutscenes for consistency's sake and for the fact that about the way through, the entirety of the game's cutscenes are in the in-game because, well, the anime still stuck in fucking filler. There's a reason why I say just stick to the manga and drop the Naruto anime at this point. In terms of modes, first off, there's the story mode which I was talking about before, and in the story mode, as I said before, you experience the final 100 chapters of the manga, and this mode is a bit short, only around 7 hours at most, and about half of it feels like it's cutscenes, and it's mostly comprised of boss fights and some standard fights in it. But the boss fights themselves have some huge set pieces in them, from things like on-rail shooting sections to even character action moments, which from my understanding first made their debut in Storm 3, and these are thrown into the mix to change some things up. And the boss fights in story mode are a ton of fun. Some of my personal favorites being the Hashirama vs. Madara fight, the Guy vs. Madara, the Team 7 vs. Kaguya, and the final fight between Naruto and Sasuke. Another mode worth talking about is the Adventure mode. This basically acts as a secondary story mode, and the story of this mode takes place shortly after the events of the main story, and it's set before the film The Last Naruto Shippuden, the movie, and in the Adventure story, Kakashi, having recently just becoming the Sixth Hokage, assigns Naruto, Sakura, and Hinata to go to a mission in the Sand Village to deliver a message to Gaara. But this mission is actually set by Kakashi and Sakura to try and get Naruto and Hinata to go on a date. Now, in the main story mode of Adventures, you'll be reliving fights throughout the series. I was hoping these would be like essentially boss fights poured over from the previous Storm games, but they're not. These are just standard fights you can recreate in the first mode, and on top of that, it only took me like 9 minutes to beat the main story of this mode, and that's not counting side missions, which there are a few of, but just this mode's kind of meh, and these are just fights that you can have in the first mode. Nothing really that special about it. And of course, there's the Versus mode, which I imagine a lot of you will be getting this game for. Like always, you can fight either offline or the mode that I totally don't suck at, being the online mode. And while the gameplay, the core mechanics of the fighting mostly remain the same, there are some new additions like being able to fight on walls, and now battle damage is a thing, where when you take enough damage during battle, your character will actually look pretty beat up, and parts of their armor and clothing will have actually be broken off. This is definitely something I wish that more fighting games would have. There's also a major change to the support system now, with the moving the right analog stick left to right. You're now able to change the playable character to one of your support characters, and this can be changed anytime you want, from either when they're in the middle of a support attack, or in fact when you're in the middle of a combo, and this can be done to pull off an even longer combo, and it's my favorite new addition to the combat. And it was something I wish the series had done from the beginning, and was actually kind of the reason why I was put off by Storm games until the second game, because fucking Naruto Broken Bonds had this shit down in 2009, I think that's when that game released. And also the team jutsus, which I believe came from Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Revolution, a game I haven't played, returns, and there's some new additions to it, like the reverse harem jutsu, in which Naruto Sai will force Sasuke to transform into a bunch of sexy guys that will cause the opponent to faint and take damage. And in some cases, depending on the female fighter you're up against, they have a unique reaction. Wait, did Naruto just try to seduce his own mom there? Well, at least Naruto and Sai didn't force Sasuke to try and seduce his own... Oh.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
Now, full disclosure here, I couldn't exactly tell which characters were new because I skipped both Storm Free and Revolution. So, and I couldn't find much that tells me which characters were exactly brand new. But judging from where I hear Storm Free left off at, and what we're at in Storm Revolutions from what I've heard, some of the new characters includes the Sage of the Six Path versions of Naruto, Obito, and Madara, as well as Sasuke of the Rinnegan, and of course, Kaguya since she's introduced in what this game covers. Though, this does lead me into one of my biggest problems with Storm 4, and that is Storm 4's pre-order bonus is one of the worst pre-order bonuses I've ever seen, by making multiple characters, while some stuff like the last versions of Naruto and Sasuke, having this pre-order bonus just makes you unlock them from the start, as opposed to being the main game. The main thing that really annoys me with this is hiding, locking, or whatever, Beryl and Sarda as pre-order exclusives. This really pissed me off, and while I haven't seen the Beryl movie yet, I did enjoy both these characters in both the final chapter of the series and in the Gaiden manga that focuses on them. And they aren't even listed as being part of the season pass except for Team Jutsu for both Beryl and Naruto, which to me sounds like they're locking these characters or things behind people who didn't pre-order the game even if they did buy the season pass. Hell, these characters are on the damn disc. Look at this ass I'm fighting against online using Beryl, and since I got the game a couple days after it came out, I didn't get this pre-order DLC. And looking at it as exclusive content, so this means I'm completely locked out of getting both of these characters. And don't give me some defense bullshit like, oh, they need these characters to be pre-order items because they would spoil anime-only watchers, because knowing that Naruto and Hinata have a son and Sasuke and Sakura having a daughter is a pretty big spoiler. That is not an excuse, especially since the only two canon Naruto films that take place after the manga anyways, with the last Naruto Shippuden movie being about Naruto and Hinata becoming a couple, and the Beryl movie focusing on their son, Beryl Uzumaki. And Bandai Namco puts this as an ad for every one of the trailers for this game, and this is only done to try to increase pre-orders while screwing over people like myself who aren't necessarily a fan of pre-order games because of some of the bullshit tactics this industry will do with shit like Colonial Marines and Watch Dogs. Sorry about that. Just need to get that rant off my chest, and that is such a bullshit tactic, Bandai Namco. Hopefully these characters are released on Xbox Live, PSN, and Steam as DLC that maybe at most cost a couple dollars, because that is really fucking shit. Another major problem I have with this game is that despite being on the PS4 and Xbox One, this game only runs at 30 FPS, and while it does feel like it's locked at 30 FPS, this is a major bummer due to the fact that it's not 60 FPS. And this isn't even just an issue of the graphics, but games simply feel a lot more smoother control-wise and feel a lot faster when they're at 60 FPS, especially when it comes to fighting game, as it's really best to make sure the controls feel tight and responsive as possible, but unfortunately, the controls, while solid, still could feel a bit tired. I mainly blame this at being at 30 FPS, and I'm not sure what the problem was, because there's games like Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, which run at 60 FPS just fine on PlayStation 4. Also, keep in mind, the PC version of this game is apparently locked at 30 FPS, so that's pretty unfortunate to you PC gamers out there. So, you're having problems with either the amount of content or the servers of Street Fighter V, and are looking for an alternate fighting game to play while Capcom sorts their shit out. Well, if you're interested in this one, well, I got bad news for you then. This game is in no way an alternative to Street Fighter. Combos are automatic, the 30 FPS makes this game feel slower than it should, and the game can easily turn into a spam fest. This game was made for Naruto fans, by Naruto fans, and this is especially marketed towards casuals at fighting games. So don't go in expecting something deep that's worth... But I will admit that this is worth picking up if you're a Naruto fan. But keep in mind, if you're only watching the anime, dub or sub, don't pick this game up. And if you're an anime-only fan, why did you ignore my warning at the beginning? Because you're going to get a lot about spoiled in this game, about the endless series. So I really do not recommend buying this game until the anime's over. But if you've read the manga, or by the time you're watching this, the anime has ended, is this worth picking up and you're already a Naruto fan? Then yes, though keeping your expectations checked for reasons why I'm just mentioned. But yeah, I really did enjoy this game, and while the story is a bit short, I did have fun with it, and the online play is pretty fun. I didn't really experience any lag there, and problems with 30 FPS and bullshit pre-order characters aside, this is something that I would recommend any Naruto fan to pick up even if they have finished the series. And I'll probably, sometime this summer, take a look back and review the other Storm games and see if this is actually a solid alternative to the anime and manga, like if you don't have the time to check out the entire series. So yeah, this is Anime Game Nerd, signing out. Peace.